Chapter 29.
I never intended for that to happen, Draco murmured sheepishly, watching as Potter and Ron turned with grimaces. You can't imagine how tricky it is, wielding this cursed wand and not causing mayhem everywhere I go. Before Draco could reveal anything more damaging, Potter intervened, gesturing to the ground. There, 2 lone spiders skittered away from the wand's glare into the shade of the trees. Draco reckoned that, like on their first-year expedition into the Forbidden Forest, Ron and Potter had likely embarked on a similar trek before, coming through unscathed. All right, Ron exhaled deeply, casting a wary glance at Draco, whose hesitation leaked into his words. Honestly, it's fine.
I've made my peace with it.
Let's move forward. With Fong bounding around them, eagerly nosing at roots and foliage, they ventured into the forest. The light of their wands guided them as they followed the steady trail of spiders leading the way. Around 20 minutes passed in silence, each one listening intently to sounds aside from snapping twigs and rustling leaves. Finally, as the trees grew denser, eclipsing the stars above, their path illuminated solely by wand light, the spiders veered off the beaten trail. Draco sought direction from Potter, undoubtedly the lead here, but he appeared uncertain. Abruptly, Potter recoiled, inadvertently crushing Ron's foot this time.
Oops.
Potter gasped. I'm pretty sure it was just Fong sniffing around. Next thing you'll be doing is taking a page out of Longbottom's book and attacking suspicious trees, Draco quipped. I'm not a coward, Potter retorted, embarrassed. It was an honest error. Harry, Ron sighed, weariness in his tone. Draco, let's keep moving. We've come this far already. Let's finish it, provided you two can stop bickering long enough to track those spiders. They trailed after the scurrying spiders into the woods. For Draco, stumbling over roots and stumps, this was starting to feel distressingly akin to manual labor. Heroism never struck him as involving this much outdoor toil. Did I really need to tag along with you two for this blunder? Draco grumbled at Potter. Surely, even your limited intellect could manage. You don't have to. Enough out of you both, Ron cut in vexed. Now I get why Hermione gets frustrated. The mention of Hermione brought a chill through Draco. They trekked for so long even Draco's Quidditch-honed legs began to feel the strain, and fear of Potter losing the spider trail held his complaint at bay. Even when his pristine robe snagged on a branch and split, neither Potter nor Ron showed any sympathy for his indignant gasp. At last, Ron signaled toward a slope. Suddenly, Fong unleashed a booming bark, startling them all, as though jolted by a jinx.
What?
Ron exclaimed, clutching Potter with a grip so tight Draco found it amusing if he weren't gripping Potter's other arm with equal force. Something's moving over there, Potter whispered anxiously. Listen, it sounds massive. They listened. To their right, the distant figures seemed to bulldoze through the forest, snapping branches. Oh no, Ron murmured, panic rising. Oh no, oh no, oh. Hush, Potter commanded urgently. It'll hear you. Hear me? Ron squealed, his voice unnaturally high. Fong's bark gave us away ages ago. If you like, Potter, I could silence Ron with a langlock, Draco suggested. Potter pondered. What do you think it's up to? Draco wagered on a giant spider. Perhaps getting ready to pounce, guessed Ron. They stood, nervous and shivering, Draco feeling smug about his ability to stay calm, armed with the assurance that past loops suggested safety unless he seriously blundered with a dark spell. Think it's gone, Potter whispered. Doubt it, Potter, came Draco's dry reply. Tension mounted as the crackling noises grew nearer. Draco barely glimpsed Ron's mortified face before all 3 of them were yanked off the ground, suspended in midair. He noted the hairy limbs carrying him, and Fong's yips fading into the distance as they were whisked away through undergrowth. Draco had to contemplate whether this was the instance to fight back with magic or if his presence had just doomed Harry Potter. Accusing himself of cowardice wouldn't do for Draco. Rather, he viewed it as prudent Slytherin judgment to hold his wand tight, await the outcome, hopeful of the arachnid's benign nature. Surely Hagrid wouldn't endanger them. It was only plausible to suspect Hagrid of menacing intentions if Draco was wrathfully inclined. They were indeed being borne aloft by colossal arachnids. Soon, Draco felt his thoughts begin to unspool into a dim blur, holding his wand close to his chest, the rocking inducing an odd tranquility, diluted only by Fong's receding howls. Awoke to moonlight breaking over a forest clearing, wide open as if purposely designed. Under this light, it became embarrassingly evident that Draco had sorely overestimated the hospitality of a spider social gathering. At the very least, this had to qualify as a grand assembly of spiders. Why hadn't the Dark Lord ever rallied these monstrosities to his cause? Draco amused himself envisioning Hogwarts forces grappling with these arachnid nightmares, dwarfing even the most vivid depictions in his vivid imagination. A sprawling web occupied the clearing's heart, towards which they were being ferried. Hardly reassuring. Memories of the devil's snare lingered, a cautious reminder to keep the wand hand free and capable. These frenzied, woolly creatures were abuzz over their capture, pincers clacking excitedly as if prized bounty had been delivered unto them. Draco briefly pondered if Ron and Potter would prefer a quick spell over a lengthy demise by arachnids. Then he tumbled unceremoniously to the ground, with Potter and Ron similarly unceremoniously dumped beside him. Clutched close, Draco's Talon wand remained intact. His wand had an eerily similar shape to the spider's pincers under the moonbeam, Draco noted with an odd sense of irony. Fong had fallen silent, crouched in petrified silence. Ron's open mouth froze in an unsoundless scream, wide-eyed, as if his eyes were about to leap from their sockets. Potter, however, was already observing alertly, his watchfulness leading Draco to notice the beast crying out, "Aragog! Aragog!" Draco breathed, resting his head blissfully on the ground, releasing a gleeful chuckle. Don't fret, it's merely Hagrid's pet arachnid. Potter and Ron, seemingly impervious to him, stood transfixed as from the depths of the web's misty cocoon, an elephantine spider lumbered forth, slowly. Gray mottled its dark body and legs, each of its unbecoming eyes clouded, blind. "Who is it?" the spider asked, pincers clicking steadily. "Humans," replied the spider holding Potter. "Is it Hagrid?" questioned Aragog, ambling nearer, its gaze vacant. "Strangers," reported the spider, who carried Ron. "End them," Aragog voiced wearily. "I was asleep." "We're Hagrid's allies," proclaimed Potter, nervously casting bravery before them, emboldening Draco. "Yes, Hagrid told us about you." Draco joined in. "Aragog. He described you as a benevolent arachnid." By technicality, this wasn't deceit. Nonetheless, from Ron and Potter's incredulous glances in the moonlight, they seemed doubtful. Click, clack, clack, echoed the surrounding spider's pincers.
Aku fortsatt.
Hagrid never engaged men in our space previously, he mused tentatively. "He spoke of you," Draco insisted. "About the past. The Chamber of Secrets." "Couldn't Hagrid have told us that?" Ron murmured under his breath. "Hagrid faces danger," articulated Potter, straight to the heart. "We've come because of that." "Danger?" repeated the old spider. Perhaps worry lurked amid the persistent clicks. "Then why did he dispatch you?" Despite the intimidating beast, Potter exuded an extraordinary calm and almost authoritative presence, his green eyes luminous in the moonlit clearing. "Those at Hogwarts suspect Hagrid's been directing an unknown creature at students. They've taken him to Azkaban." "Azkaban's no picnic. Avoid it if possible," Draco called, earning upon himself Ron and Potter's stern frowns. Aragog's pincers rattled furiously, a sound mirrored broadly by the spiders like applause round the grove. Draco hoped they applauded his astute Azkaban assessment. But that artifice unfolded many years previously. I recollect it vividly, Aragog concluded. That's why he was forced to leave school. They believed I was the creature lurking in what they referred to as the Chamber of Secrets. They thought Hagrid opened it and set me loose, Aragog explained, his tone reflecting irritation. Did you know about this? Ron whispered to Draco with urgency, who acknowledged with a nod. Why confide in you and not us? No clue, Draco muttered. Maybe because I asked. And you didn't emerge from the Chamber of Secrets? Potter stammered, sounding a bit unsettled now. Yet he was doing a remarkable job managing the encounter with the spiders. Best to let him continue. No, Aragog rattled, clicking with anger. I wasn't born here. Hagrid received me as an egg from a traveler from far away. So, Hagrid, Norbert wasn't your only second-hand pet then? Hagrid, though just a boy, cared for me secretly in a cupboard at the castle, feeding me leftovers. He was my benevolent friend, standing by me when I was blamed for the girl's death. I've dwelled in this forest ever since, with Hagrid visiting me regularly. He even introduced me to my mate, Mozag, and you can see how our clan has thrived thanks to Hagrid. So, you never attacked anyone? Potter inquired pointedly. Never, the ancient spider croaked. Though my instinct screamed otherwise, out of respect for Hagrid, I refrained from harming humans. The girl's body was found in a bathroom. Beyond my cupboard, I saw nothing of the castle. Our kin favor darkness and silence. Then, do you have any idea what killed her? Potter pressed. That threat is back, targeting people again. The spiders became agitated, issuing a cacophony of erratic clicks and movements, sending a chill through Draco. They were frightened. What could possibly scare such monstrous creatures? Perhaps a basilisk? The castle harbors an ancient horror, which strikes dread even in our hearts. I pleaded with Hagrid to release me when I sensed it prowling the school. What is it? Potter demanded urgently. Draco almost spoke out, suspecting it might be a basilisk, not through foresight but logical reasoning. Noise swelled around them. These spiders indeed needed to calm down. We do not utter its name, declared Aragog fiercely. Its name remains unspoken. Like Voldemort light, perhaps? I never disclosed it to Hagrid, even though he asked countless times. Aragog seemed fatigued of the exchange, retreating to his intricate web, while fellow spiders crept closer. We best be leaving, Potter called desperately to Aragog, prompting Draco's grip to tighten on his wand. Leave, Aragog echoed slowly. I don't think so. But my offspring spare Hagrid, as per my directive. But I cannot deny them fresh prey drawn willingly into our midst. My father sits on the Hogwarts governors. Draco shouted in panic. Sonorous, as he amplified his voice. My father is among the Hogwarts governors, he repeated, tracking me via a charm. Avensegum. He constantly monitors it, and should harm come to me, he will know your whereabouts, and cleanse the woods. Draco never envisioned he'd have to play this card again. Yet here he was, with the old refrain. Wait until my father hears of this. At least, it gave Aragog pause. Listen, Draco continued. Feasting on us might be exhilarating, but think past the immediate. I know it's enticing, but look towards the future, Aragog. I am too significant to be executed. Spare the pale-haired one, Aragog decided. Slay the rest. Imperio, Draco hissed. Initially, nothing transpired, until he shut his eyes, drawing deeply from within his wand. Darkness burst forth, shrouding the entire space, obscuring moonlight. As clarity returned, he noticed the light fade from Aragog's eyes. Just like the trials at Malfoy Manor. Draco felt warmth flow down his arm, as if the wand fused with him, commanding threads stretching over the spider. Aragog, Draco instructed, order your brood to escort us to the forbidden forest's edge, nearest Hogwarts.
Now.
Aragog's will clashed with Draco's, but soon surrendered to the comforting warmth, akin to the influence leveraged over Madame Rosmerta. Carry them to the forest's edge, Aragog commanded. Nearest Hogwarts now. Though skeptical, the spiders moved towards them, seemingly adhering to their intent. In sure compliance, Draco projected rather than voiced, his influence flooding through Aragog's mind. He recalled Fong and imprinted, take the dog too. Obey, Aragog asserted. The humans and dog will remain unharmed. Surrounded by arachnids, they were lifted and borne back towards safety. Draco clutched his Talon wand, murmuring, "Thank you," silently, as he was swayed through the forest. He had to trust Ron and Potter were similarly bound. When the trees receded, Draco glimpsed the sky, with a sensation in his legs returning excruciatingly as he hit the ground, deposited alongside Ron, Potter, and Fong by the forest's boundary. The spiders bowed before scuttling away, their clicking fading into silence. "Draco," Potter exclaimed, scrambling to him quickly. "Are you all right?" His hands brushed Draco's hair aside. "I'm still here, in case anyone's concerned," Ron grumbled nearby, while Fong slobbered over his face. Regaining function took time, with Draco needing Potter's support initially back to Hagrid's. "What did you do?" Ron asked, amazed. "That was unbelievable. Is it like when Harry speaks to snakes?" Sounded like English, but can you talk spider tongue? Draco's relief evaporated quickly. "I'll explain later." Potter retrieved the invisibility cloak from Hagrid's hut, finding Fong trembling under a blanket. Meanwhile, Ron was expelling the contents of his stomach among the pumpkins. Potter checked on him, unalarmed but understandably shaken. Following spiders, Ron muttered ruefully, wiping his mouth. "I won't forgive Hagrid. We barely survived. If not for Draco's spider talk." "He probably thought Aragog wouldn't harm his friends," Potter suggested, prompting another epic eye roll from Draco. "Typical Hagrid," Ron decried, thumping the cabin wall. "Always underestimating monsters, and now he's in Azkaban. What have we learned for our trouble?" "That Hagrid was falsely accused," Potter declared, draping the cloak and nudging Ron to move. "He didn't open the chamber." Ron scoffed, echoed by Draco. They half wondered if the spiders had spun tales to cover for Hagrid, yet given Aragog's intent to dine on them shortly after, deceit didn't seem likely. Approaching the castle, symbolic of refuge and judgment, Draco halted.
"Wait.
Listen, you two can't reveal what I did, all right? Not even to Hermione when she recovers. The curse I used, you hear? Even if they hadn't caught the incantation, learning about the unforgivables from Moody would clue them in. It was the Imperius curse, one of the unforgivables. I risk Azkaban if anyone finds out, so promise you won't tell." "That was dark magic?" Potter gasped. "An unforgivable?" Ron echoed. "Draco, how did you manage that? Have you tried it before?"
No.
"No." Draco lied convincingly. "It was all I had on hand. You owe me, remember? I told you all along I wasn't the heir, and if you snitch on the Imperius, you're the biggest ungrateful brutes." "Draco," Potter stated firmly, "the spell doesn't alter anything. We're alive. Rest assured, we wouldn't report you, all right?" Draco glanced at Ron, who nodded without hesitation. Draco seemed far more concerned about the Imperius than they did. "Sure, mate," Ron added. "I can always count on you to protect me from creepy spiders using your mysterious magic."
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this chapter, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated with more audiobooks. Happy listening!